I love Romanians. I like am obsessed with Romania, the country and the people. Being in Romania was like the best experience of my life. I like loved it. Like it was everything I ever wanted and more, being there and what the people taught me. So I remember when I first got to Romania, the food was very different compared to what I was used to in America, of course. And I was kind of timid. I've always been super open to trying different things, but for some reason I like felt timid just because I was in a whole new place, and it was just shell shock in the beginning at first, just because I was in Romania and I'd never been there before. But what I really learned to love while I was there, there's this thing called sarmale, which is like the most famous meal in Romania. They have it like any big event, holiday. If they're celebrating something, they eat sarmale. And what sarmale is, it's just cabbage wrapped around meat, which sounds kind of weird, but it's actually really good. So they always have that with like some sour cream and like some mamaliga, which is, I can't even explain what mamaliga is. I want to say it's like rice, but I don't even know how they make it. It's basically just like this big, dense, like plop of, I want to say jello, but it's not jello. Anyway, it like fills you up so fast. It's like almost, it feels, everyone used to talk about how it like expands in your stomach because you like eat like 2 bites and you're like instantly full because mamaliga. Another thing that I loved was there's coverage is what they call it. And they're like everywhere on the streets. If you're in the city or wherever you are, they have like these little stands. And Romania has really, really good bread, which is kind of crazy because I've never really been like a crazy bread person, but then when I went to Romania, I was like all about the bread because it's so fresh. Everything in Romania is like really, really, really fresh. Like the fruit is so much better there. Everything's just better in Romania. But the bread especially, and they have like coverage, which is just like warm bread with like chocolate in it and stuff like that, which is just the best thing, especially when like a cold winter day. There's nothing better than a coverage with bread and warm chocolate inside of it, which is kind of funny because when I got home from my mission and I like tried to eat bread again, it made me really sick. And I think it's because everything in Romania is just really fresh and nothing's processed. And then when I got home, I like tried to just like eat like normal bread again, and I'm actually allergic. Like I can't, I'm allergic to gluten now, which is like in bread, because I think my body just got so used to like the freshness of it. And then when I came home and like tried to just eat it like normal again, it just, my body was like, no, this is processed. You can't do it. We were at a member's house. She was like a young girl, and her mom was feeding us dinner one day, and she fed us cow hearts, which was very interesting. And I cannot say that I ate all of them that she gave me, but I had really good sisters there with me who were happy to eat some, and yeah, it was an experience for sure. Because I'm not a huge like meat person, and so like the thought of like a cow heart was just like gonna kill me. Anyway, so that was probably the most interesting thing that I ate in Romania, was a cow heart. Romanians are, it depends on the person. Some of them are like really bold and straightforward. Most Romanians are Orthodox. A lot of them would say to us, like, it's just who I am. Like, I was born Orthodox, I will die Orthodox, just because it's like a tradition almost. It's like in their blood. So I would say like they're very like faithful to what they believe in. And they're very like, this is just who I am. Like, I was born this way, I will die this way. So I would say they're very loyal. Like, they're very loyal people. They care a lot, and they're just like good to their soul. Like Romanians, they like a true like heart of a Romanian is they like mean well, and they are just like good people, and you can, when you talk to them, you can tell they're good people. And Romanians work crazy hard. It's like an wake up at beginning of the morning and you're going all day, you're working all day and you don't stop, and it's just what they do. And yeah, they're just like hard, dedicated people who are loyal and who just care, and I love them so much. They're such good people and taught me so much about love and just like determination. And I actually learned like the most from a family that I was teaching. They were a gypsy family, and I would like what I learned about like real Christ-like love is what I learned from them. And it was like in the way that they treated each other as like siblings and as like mother and daughter or father, and just like the way their family dynamic was like so helpful, so loving, so like, of course I'll help you, of course I'll do this, of course I'll clean the dishes, or I'll pick up the house, or I'll go to the store. Or it was like no question asked. They just did it, and it was like all out of just like love for one another. And like that family, you could tell that they knew that they were all they had, and they like lived by that, which was really cool to me. When I first got out there, it was the dead of winter. It was freezing cold, like colder than I've ever felt, because in Romania it's humid, and I've been in Utah my whole life and it's just not humid at all. And so it was like bone cold, like your whole body just feels like it's like, I don't know, shrinking. It's like you're so cold. And it would get dark really early. I don't know, just everything about it was different. Like, for instance, I had like never been on like a bus. Like I have like in the like elementary school and stuff, but like I wasn't like a daily bus rider, you know what I mean? Like I just like, my mom would drive me places, or I would drive myself places because I was in high school or whatever, and that's not a thing in Romania. Like everyone takes a bus, or they take the metro, or depending on where they live, it's like transportation everywhere. And like people have cars, but not very many people have cars. And so that was different. The stores, like there's no like Walmart in Romania. All the stores are different, the food's different, the things you buy at stores are different. It's like not what you're used to. I didn't speak Romanian very well, so hearing Romanian all day long, or trying to speak Romanian, was like very much a culture shock, because you try, but a lot of the times when you're a new missionary trying to speak a language, either the people like won't understand you because you don't speak very well, or don't like recognize like your name tag, and they like won't be interested. Or it just was like very much you're just thrown into it right away, and you just kind of have to adapt. But the coolest thing about missionary work is, I really believe this like the second you choose to like forget about yourself and like, oh, I'm uncomfortable, or oh, I don't feel like in my element, or this is weird, like I don't speak Romanian, how am I supposed to speak to this lady who's Romanian and she only speaks Romanian, like how am I supposed to communicate with her? But the second you like switch your mindset to like, oh, this is hard and this is different and I'm uncomfortable, to like, this isn't about me and this is cool and this is different, and I get to learn like how this works and how to get from place to place, and how to talk to these people and how to communicate with them and how to reach them, rather than focusing on like, well, how can I help myself? It just, once I did that, it like completely changed, and I was happy in it. Things were well, and we were able to talk to people, and I was able to talk to people when I didn't think I'd be able to. If you think it's like really hard and impossible and that it can't be done, then it can't be done. But if you think like, I can do it, and I have to push myself, and I have to put in the effort, and I have to just like love it, just choose to love it, then you will, and it will be like the best experience ever. I was able to visit a couple of really cool places. I went to like a famous castle that's like really, really old. There's blocks everywhere, so there's not houses. So that was like a culture shock too. There's not houses. No one lives in like a house, really. No one lives in a house. Everyone lives in a block, which are just like these big skyscraper buildings. That's just the way that everyone's used to living. Everyone basically lives in like the same space. Like there was a guy named Ceausescu who kind of just like overtook Romania, and he built like this gigantic castle mansion for himself, and then tore down all the houses and everything and built these blocks because he wanted everyone to live the same way and have the same lifestyle and the same money, the same house, the same clothes. Like he just wanted them to have all the same things, and he built like this giant castle for himself. It's like a building that you can like see from space, I want to say, but it's like huge. Like it's huge. It's like the biggest thing you've ever seen. It's like shocking every time you see it. You're like, wow, I cannot believe it's that big. We were teaching a family, a gypsy family, and they also didn't have very much. They lived in just this like street of, it just was like these little houses and just dirt roads, and there were 7 of them in 2 beds, and they all just shared, and there was 1 couch. I was new, and I hadn't tried sarmale yet. I hadn't had the opportunity to try it, and I told the mom that, Diana, and I told her that I hadn't tried it yet, and she like could not believe it. She was like, oh, it's not okay. You cannot be in Romania and not try sarmale. So she invited us over, like we were going to come over, she's going to feed us, and we're going to teach them another lesson. So we went over, and it was like the best sarmale. Like there, we had another missionary with us who had been out for a while, and they were like, "This is the best sarmale I've ever had, ever. Like it is so good." And it's because they like cooked it like over a fire, which just made it like so good. I don't know why, but apparently it makes it better if you cook it over a fire. I can't remember what else we had. Probably mamaliga, and then like a dessert or something, and like bread, and yeah, just like the classic. It's always like sarmale, mamaliga, bread, and like a dessert. So she like brought it out to us, and it was like warm, but they didn't have enough money to like feed her whole family. And so like for that, like they fed us, and then they didn't eat. Like I don't know what they ate for dinner, and it was like we felt so bad because we didn't realize like that was the situation, that they were like buying food for us, cooking it for us, and then we're eating and they're not going to eat that night. Like they're going to miss a meal because of it. And we like felt so terrible. We were like, oh no, like we can share. I'm so sorry. Like how can we fix this or help this situation? And they were like, so like, no, like we want to do this for you. We like, you guys have done so much for us. Like this means more to us that we do this for you. And like, it doesn't matter. And like, we want you to enjoy this. Like we made it for you, and we want you to enjoy it. And that was just like way more important to them. And they kind of just like sat and like watched our reactions of like, oh, it's so good, and just like lit up their whole world. Like they like loved the fact that they like made this for us and that we enjoyed it. And it was just like so heartwarming that they would care so much about us, and like these Americans, or there's somebody from Australia who like, they like cared so much to feed us and to give us that, and they cared to eat themselves. And she had like young kids, and I'm sure they ate something, but nothing like that, like probably just something small, or I don't know. So I just remember being a new missionary and like seeing that, and just being like, just like my heart was just like swelling, because like who does that, and like so willingly. And I know like a lot of people do that because they like care and they like want you to like have this experience. And but it was just like so crazy to me. Like she had so many kids that she needed to feed, and somehow she fed them, but she like fed us as well. And it was, I don't know, it's like hard to put into words. It's just like the feeling that you feel like when you realize what's happening and why they're doing what they're doing. And it's like the most heartwarming thing ever. And that family just like changed my whole world. And the way, that's like the same family I talked about, like the way they treated each other and who they were, and just like all of it was just like very heartwarming, and like just a very tender experience for me in general, because I'd never been in that situation where I was eating and somebody else wasn't, because I was. Te iubesc, România. Experiența mea acolo a fost cea mai bună și nu vreau să uit niciodată cum era. Vreau să vă spun că sunteți oameni buni și că Dumnezeu vă iubește, și vreau să-ți spun că dacă aveți o întrebare sau vreți să știți ceva, puteți să știți, și că Dumnezeu este acolo pentru voi, și că sunteți oameni frumoși, și când mă gândesc la experiența mea și toate lucrurile pe care le-am învățat acolo, îmi amintesc că știți cum să fiți recunoscători și cum să mergem mai înainte cu credința. Și da, nu prea știu ce să zic, dar îți mulțumesc, și adică vă mulțumesc și te iubesc mereu, și sper că aveți o zi frumoasă sau un an frumos.